done this for a while, I just thought of a really good idea. It's not so much of a discussion, just my top tips really. So, in case you haven't noticed, the weather is awful. I very quickly got back to very wet, muddy walks with the dogs. So I thought I'd share my kind of top tips for how I wash the dogs off and dry the dogs after a walk. And living on a farm, it's lovely because we go straight out the door into the field, but don't really have the option of keeping them dry and, well, not dry, but I don't have the option of keeping them clean for the odd walk. Can't really do any pavement bashing, so very much every walk is mud. So these are my kind of top tips. So I used to use a washing up bucket of water. I'd fill up a washing up bucket full of warm water, a bit of fairy liquid sometimes, but not very often, just warm water, get a cloth, and I'd encourage the dogs to put their front paws in the bowl, and while they've got their front paws in the bowl, I'd just splash the water up their front legs, and then use the wet cloth as well just to wipe the front legs, and then do the same with the back legs. And I'd have them like walk past the bowl first, and then I'd just lift their back legs into the bowl, and they got pretty used to doing that alright. I use lots of treats to make sure they're not having a horrible time. What I now do, now I have a warm outdoor tap, thankfully, so I can spray them down with a hose pipe, and it's warm, so in winter they're not getting sprayed with icy cold water. And I either just encourage them to stand still while I spray them using some treats, or I will have the lead and have them on the lead, just a nice loose lead attached to a tether point, and then just kind of quickly get on with it and just give them lots of treats beforehand and afterwards, so it's not too unpleasant. Another thing is a bucket of water can be quite useful as well. If you haven't got a washing up bowl, get a bucket. Again, either standing my legs in it, or just have them outside. Here's Sebby, by the way. We're having a wee, sorry. We're having a solo walk at the moment, because Giddis has been out all day with me doing busy stuff. So yeah, just a bucket of water can be quite good just to wash them down. And then for towel drying, I just practice it when they were puppies, and before they were wet, practice giving them treats with one hand while you wiping their legs with the towel in the other hand, and also teach them to give paw. So you can hold the towel out and lift the paw into your hand that's got the towel in it. So I hold the towel in my hand, ask the dog paw, and then just kind of try and rub the paws while their paw is on my hand on the towel. But also just lots of scattering treats on the floor, so they're busy eating while you can then be rubbing them over, and then just reload your scattered treats, just keep having a pause and then scatter some. I also luckily have a room or a couple of rooms in my house where I can kind of shut off and leave them in there to dry off. I really like, this isn't not an ad, I wish they'd have given me them, but they didn't give them me. I bought some rough and tumble drying coats I saw them at Crofts, and they are wonderful. I only use them when it's cold, so if the house is really warm with the heating on, I tend not to put the rough and tumble coats on the dogs because they're going to get warm really easily. But if it's really cold, heating's not on, the dogs are soaking wet, then sticking those towel in, they're like a towel material coat, and I really prefer them because I feel like the toweling material is absorbing the water really well, and it's not soaking through the towel. So if the dogs are soaking wet, put the rough and tumble coats on them, and then leave them, that dries them off really nicely. And I tend to like leave them in one of the rooms just with a chew or a bone or a Kong or something to keep them busy. I just let them dry off in there really. Tend to walk the dogs first thing in the morning, and then I go and have my shower. So I leave the dogs in one of the rooms where they can dry off while I'm in the shower anyway, so they don't come upstairs with me while they're all soaking wet. And then by the time I come back downstairs, they're normally quite dried off, and then they can come in the house. So yeah, hot outdoor tap with like the shower. Use the gentle shower nozzle on your hose pipe attachment, or just a stream of water. Tether them, or just have treats in your hand and just keep feeding them while you're spraying them off while they're stood up. Or a washing up bowl of water, or a bucket of water and a cloth. And then also one of my tips was going to be that when they are dry, if they're still quite muddy, if you use one of the soft-sided brushes, dog brush, if you get like the soft bristly side, you know, you can get your double-sided brushes. If you use the soft bristle side, and that really helps get the mud off. I'd recommend doing it outside or doing it with the dog on a towel or something like that, because when you brush them with that brush, you just see the mud just falling on the floor. But that's quite a good way of getting the initial mud off first, and then going through them with more of a comb or a slicker brush, depending on your dog's coat type. So that's my other top tip, is brushing them off afterwards. Really helps. But there's no shame in walking around the pavements. If you live in a residential area, you don't have to go for a wet, muddy walk every single time if you don't want to. It's quite a lot of enrichment for a dog on a pavement walk. Lots of different smells. You might do some training on the way. So maybe do some stops and sits and waits at the curbs, or some nice lead walking, or you could do some like change of direction or do some scent work along the way on your walks. So, you know, there's no shame in avoiding a really wet walk. Obviously just try and walk your dogs once a day, and a good off lead once a day is really good for them. But you know, if you want to do tricks, or even if you don't go out for a walk, stay in and teach them some tricks, or do some strength and conditioning work for those of you that are, for anyone, but also especially those of you that are doing dog sports like agility or flyball. Strength and conditioning is really important. So yeah, don't worry about missing the odd walk. Okay, hope everyone's well. I might be back sometime doing another video at some point. Who knows what's going on? My life is just crazy. But me and Zebby, is he there, are having a really good solo walk this afternoon, and he is doing well with his recalls, so that's a positive. Right, have fun, bye!